What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for today, and I think we do end up having a slight losing day here, which is completely normal, completely part of the program, and we do end up cashing this 3.25x right here on the VIP. We take these guys in League of Legends to go under, and then we take these guys in soccer to go over. Unfortunately, this guy DMPs, because if he did end up playing, he would have almost certainly went over unless something crazy happened to him. I have no idea why he DMP'd, guys. I didn't keep up with the news of this Brazilian league soccer player going over under, or sorry, playing or not playing, but I did end up taking him over, and you'll see the guy that played right next to him ends up getting 111 passes. Okay, so if he does play, like I said, there's probably a 97-98% chance that he goes over, and it's very simple why, right? If you look at the game that they played in, they play on this team right here, and they had 63% possession in that game. The guy that we bet on was right here. He played right here, and then I believe the guy that we would have bet on if he didn't DMP would have played like right here, okay? So these guys would have been passing to each other quite a lot in the game, but of course, this guy gets DMP'd. I don't know whether he was injured or what, but unfortunately, we do only cash this for a 3.5x, but I'm not going to complain. I'm happy. Any play that's going to cash for us, I'm happy about. This one right here was a couple videos ago. We took NOLA and we took GPK, and we took both these guys, this guy over and this guy under, and this one was a better entry that was right here on this channel a couple of days ago, so hopefully you guys got that in. And then we did have some losses. This one right here in the top right was probably the closest one, and I should have pulled up Galaxy, but Galaxy had a lot of possession in the game. They ended up losing, but they ended up having a lot of possession in this game, and we did have a setup from Valorant. In this Valorant game, again, I should have pulled this up, so I apologize. This Valorant game, I believe, went into 3 to 4 overtimes. Okay, so like it went into like 3 to 4 overtimes. And if you know anything about Valorant, guys, and why we bet on Valorant overs, it's because longer games equals more kills, shorter games equals less kills. So if you see me taking the under, I'm hoping for a shorter game. If I'm taking the over, I'm hoping for a longer game. And these were two very evenly leveled teams, and they went into overtime a couple of times, causing especially this guy who kind of underperformed in the first map. This guy needed those overtime rounds to go over right here, and because of those overtime rounds, this guy goes over. So again, the more rounds you play, it kind of makes sense. The more time in the game, the more rounds you play. If you think about it, if you're playing with friends, I always like to think about esports because they're professional video game players, but at the end of the day, guys, they're just playing video games, right? I'm sure everyone, has played a video game at some point, whether it's, a really old video game or a newer video game or whatever. If you're playing the video game more and more, you're going to get more of a score. If you're playing the video game less and maybe only play for 5 minutes, you're not going to get as much of a score in the game. And it's the same thing with these professional players. If they're playing against each other and the game drags on overtime and double and triple overtime, you're going to get more stuff happening. And then if it's not overtime, it's a quick game, there's going to be less score in the game. So again, that's how that works. But unfortunately, these guys in soccer do go over together, and very simple reason why, right? It's just like the Brazilian guys, like I said here, they had more possession. So because Galaxy, these guys were both on Galaxy, because these guys had a lot of possession, they go over together, okay? And, it is what it is, right? Sometimes these guys are going to go over. Sometimes these guys are going to go under. All I can do is try to predict if these guys are going to have less possession than PrizePicks thinks, or have more possession than PrizePicks thinks, okay? Some of these other entries, this one was yesterday's play of the day. We do hit Peter Lambert very easily right there. And then Reinaldo, however you say that name, he does kind of nearly miss here. He's right on pace pretty much the whole game. And then about like the 75th minute, I don't know whether he gets pulled out or what, but he just pretty much completely stops getting any passes or whatever. So, that is what it is. It was a close one there, and he was on pace most of the game. If you guys do not know, we're up 234 units in 2026, which is absolutely insane. Again, on average, I don't know how many days have gone past in 2026, but I know it has not been 234. There's probably been, I don't know, 170, 180 days so far in 2026 so far. So, we are up more than a unit every single day on average, right? And the key word is on average, because again, some days we might go down a couple units. Some days we're going to go up a couple units. Some days we're going to go up 20 units, which we've had in the past week even. We've had some 20 unit days. So again, on average, though, we're going to go up about 1.5 units every single day. And that is honestly what I have seen over the past 2 years, right? I have 1,000 videos on this channel. I've been giving out plays for 1,000 days, 2.5 years, whatever you want to say. And on average, we normally go up, if you look over this over the course of months or years, we go up about 1 to 1.5 units every single day, which is absolutely amazing, right? That is amazing, amazing stuff to be able to look through that and be able to see that we're able to consistently go up like that. But again, it's important to understand that we're going to have some down days, we're going to have some up days, and this stuff is something where, we're not just going to consistently go up a unit every day or whatever, because that would be crazy, that this is not how sports betting works, okay? Now, over the past week, and I just updated this, guys, like 5 minutes ago, past week, we're up 50 freaking units, which is obviously phenomenal here. 12 and 31 record. So again, this is important to understand the record, guys. We have 31 losses and only 12 wins, okay? So our wins way outseed our losses. And again, 12 wins while only having 31 losses is amazing when you consider that all the entries we play are either 4-mans or 3-mans, okay? So again, I play long shot entries. I like to call them kind of like home run type entries. 3-mans and 4-mans. You only need to hit 1 in 7 of these sometimes, right? And you'll see that actually, if you think about it record-wise, hitting 12 of these with only, 45 entries or whatever is actually really, really great. And that is, of course, why we're up 53 units, which is obviously amazing, okay? So we've had an insane last 30 days, an insane week, and let's go ahead and try to continue on here and get some more plays out, all right? So we do have some massive days ahead of us. We have World Cup third place game, which, in theory, really not that big of a game. I don't know how much these guys are going to take serious, but then obviously tomorrow we do have the World Cup final, okay? And in today's video, I'm giving you guys a little bit of a treat. I have 2 PrizePicks plays for you guys, okay? So let's go ahead and hop into the first one. The first one's going to be with that third place game, and the second one is going to be my first official pick of the World Cup final, okay? I'm going to try to have 3 of them. I'm going to try to have setups for each side here, and a couple of them are going to be on the VIP. So this might be the only one that I give out for free. The rest of them might be on the VIP, but also tomorrow I might be giving out an entry as well. But first pick of the day, let's focus on the third place game, okay, which is going to be England versus France. Now, there's a lot of starters out. There's players like Mbappe playing, but there's a lot of players on the French side not playing. And in England, same thing. There's some players playing. There's some players not playing. I do believe like people like Jude Bellingham's playing. Elliot Anderson, his line is up, so I think he's playing. Mark Gruhl, he is playing as well. With that being said, it's going to be kind of a weird game because it's a third place game. I don't know how much these guys are going to care or whatnot. I will say France is subbing out a lot of their starters. And the French second team is really, really good as well, okay? So do not discount the French second team. They're really good. They have a lot of players that easily could start on some of these top teams in the world if France just was not that good. With that being said, what I do think is going to happen is I think that some of these starters that have played for England the past couple of weeks here in the World Cup, I think they're going to get subbed out at like the 60th or 50th minute just because it's one of those games. It's almost like a bowl game in college football or a game in the NFL where you're just kind of getting blown out and people just stop caring, and they'll start subbing players out, right? Or in like in the NBA, right? When you're getting blown out by like 30 points, you start subbing players out. And I think this is what's going to happen in the third place game. Elliot Anderson normally plays right here. Mark plays right here, and I'm taking them under together. And again, it's for a couple of reasons. One, I think these guys are not going to take the game very serious. It's a third place game. They're all sad because they just got knocked out of the final pretty much. And then two, I think that these guys are going to get subbed out of the game, and they're going to start letting some younger players in, and some players that haven't even touched the field yet in this tournament play in this game a little bit here because the game really doesn't matter, right? Third place doesn't really matter for some of these countries. So these guys I do think are going to get subbed out of the game, especially Mark because he's an older player. Now, Elliot's a little bit younger. He's like 23 or 24, so you could argue that he is going to stay in the game because he's younger and stuff, but he is a very, very high-level player, worth a lot of money. So, it'd be really dumb to keep him in the game and get him injured, and now he's losing millions of dollars because he's injured for a whole season, okay? So I do like the unders here. I like the unders for England and France. And then as we get into the Spain game, it's going to be the same thing. Spain and Argentina. I like the unders for most of those teams, and we'll get into that too. Brian Reynolds, I'm going to take him over 5 hitter fantasy score. And the reason being is because he's just on an absolute heater, okay? Absolute insane hot streak. He just faced the Brewers, and Brewers have a really, really good pitching core, but that did not matter for him because he just pretty much went straight through them, right? The only game he's gone under is against the Brewers here with 4. But with that being said, his line is 5 right now. So as long as he just gets 1 more than his lowest point that he's ever had in the past 10 games, he should be in pretty good shape. If we look over his past 15 games, same sort of thing here, doing very well. And if you look at head-to-head versus the Guardians here, I'm actually realizing this is in 2025, so this doesn't even really matter. But yeah, he has been doing insanely well. Every time you see him at 5, I really like his line. You'll see that a lot of times his line is 5.5. So against the Brewers a couple days ago, his line was 5.5. Same thing as 5.5. It's 5 here against the Braves, 4.5. But a lot of times you're going to see his line at 5.5 or higher, 6.5 even against the Nationals here. So anytime that you see this guy's line at 5, I think it is very takeable, or very, very takeable. And then if you take him at 5.5, that is also a solid play for you, okay? So take him at 5, take him at 5.5. Again, the lower you can get this, the better. Obviously, we're going to take the over here. So that's going to be the first play of the day. And then the second play of the day is also going to be a PrizePicks entry, and that is going to be for the World Cup final happening on Sunday afternoon. But before I do so, I do want to tell you guys about how to get into the VIP. So VIP price for the month has now raised to $62. Told you guys about this all last week. Then I'm going to slowly increase prices, but you guys can still get into the VIP for a month or two for a $5 to $10 deposit in one of these apps or less. Just text me the word NOVIG or Kalshi or Underdog Fantasy or whatever you want to sign up with, right? So use code detective on NOVIG. Just put in, I think it's like $5 or less into NOVIG, and you will get that promo there. Same thing with an app like Sleeper, guys. I not highly recommend. You need to text me first, okay? I do not want you guys to sign up for these apps without using the proper code or the proper link or whatever, or not get the proper instructions, okay? So if you do want to sign up with Sleeper, amazing. I'd love to get you in. It takes less than 5 minutes a lot of times for some of these apps, but text me Sleeper, okay? Text me Sleeper. I will send you guys the instructions within 5 minutes. You'll get signed up with Sleeper within 5 minutes, and you'll get into the VIP very quickly after that. 2 months free of the VIP for that. So again, you can sign up for apps like Sleeper, for apps like Underdog, for apps like Kalshi, with Bovada, which is legal in pretty much every state as well. You guys can sign up for, and then BETR, which is an app that I talk about all the time on this channel. You guys can sign up for BETR, and BETR is only a $5 deposit, okay? So BETR, NOVIG are the cheapest ones you can get into. Sleeper is going to give you 2 months. Bovada is going to give you 2 months, okay? And then also like Kalshi will give you a month. Underdog will give you a month. I get this question all the time. What if I signed up for like 3 of these apps? Yes, you'll get 3 months free, okay? Just communicate with me, guys. I'm here. Text me. It's my personal number. I'll respond to you. My goal is to get you guys into the VIP, all right, guys? So there's probably some app out there that you don't have. You can put $10 in or something like that. Follow the steps, and you'll get into the VIP for free for a month, okay? So very simple stuff, guys. It's the #1 way that people get into the VIP. So again, do not be afraid to text me. It is pretty much my job at this point to just give you guys codes to sign up for apps and stuff like that and get you guys into the VIP, okay? Now, let's get into the official first World Cup Finals play on this channel, all right? So very excited about that. We do have Pau and we have Pedro Porro, okay? And we have these guys playing very, very similar roles next to each other, okay? So Porro is right here and Pau is right here, okay? And as these guys are passing the ball, they're either going to be passing the ball a lot or passing the ball a little amount, okay? And I think this game is going to be, I'm going to say 53-47, and I think 53 is going to go to Spain. I do think Spain is going to possess the ball a little bit more, but I think this guy getting 70 passes is quite a lot, and I think same thing with Porro. I think him getting 56 passes is quite a lot. I think Porro, I like his line all the way down to about 42, and I think with Pau, I like his line all the way down to, I'm going to say about 64-ish, something like that, okay? So not the biggest discrepancies ever, but these discrepancies can make a big difference in the long run, okay? So why do I take guys under together, over together in soccer? Well, it's very simple. It's like I explained at the very beginning of this video, that play that we hit. If the team has a lot of possession, I'm going to have this as P. If they have a lot of possession, then these guys are going to go over together, right? That's how it's going to work. If these guys do not have a lot of possession, then these guys are most likely to go under together, okay? And what I've seen from these big name games, right? So I'm talking about, England, Argentina. I'm talking about Spain, France. I'm talking about, Switzerland game and Norway, England and stuff. Some of these big games, I've seen that these lines are consistently too high, okay? In these 50-50 battles where teams are very evenly favored, like Spain, Argentina, you see a lot of like, I'm going to call it almost like downtime in a way, or limbo time, where they're wasting the time. You know, the goalie is kind of is waiting with the ball. It's a throw in and they're waiting. It's a set piece and they're waiting. It's a corner and everyone's kind of lollygagging around. Now, if you think about a game that's not like that, so for example, the one that comes to mind is like Spain, Cape Verde, whenever that was played very early in the tournament. Spain possessed the ball like 80% of the time. And they were just passing and passing and passing and passing and passing, and there was no real friction there, okay? They could just do whatever they wanted passing-wise. Now, they ended up tying the game, but I'm not talking about the actual score. I'm talking about actual possession passing-wise. There was no friction. In these bigger games, there's a lot of friction, okay? You can't just pass the ball around willy-nilly and just expect to be able to just pass and pass and pass for 90 minutes. Argentina is going to press them. They're going to take the ball back. It's the same thing with England. It's the same thing with Argentina and Spain and Norway and these good teams. They're going to consistently get the ball back. And again, the ball just instantly, constantly falls in this limbo period where Spain has the ball and then Argentina has the ball and then Spain has the ball and then Argentina has the ball. And you can't really get these long passing possessions under these guys' belt. And that is really what builds a lot of passes, is these long, drawn-out passing possessions where these guys have the ball for 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 10 minutes at a time. And you saw that a lot earlier in the tournament where it's a really, really good team like Spain against a bad team like, you know, some of these earlier teams in the tournament. You had these very, very long, drawn-out passing possessions where Spain almost looked like they were just like in like a practice facility, just passing the ball around, and it was just super, super simple just to pass the ball around for them. Okay, that's not the case with some of these bigger games and these massive games, so to speak. Right, it's the World Cup final. So I am liking the under. Porro also gets subbed out a lot of games. He's gotten subbed out like 80% of these games. So he gets subbed out at about the 75th minute, like a normal sub out time, about the second water break. So again, think about Porro, not necessarily him getting 45 passes in 90 minutes. It's more him getting 45 passes in like 70 to 75 minutes. And on top of that, there's a little bit of insurance if the game does go into extra time that he's going to already be out of the game. All right, so I really like these two players to go under. For Spain-Argentina, and for Argentina's sake, just a spoiler, I like their unders also for all the reasons why I said, okay? I think these guys' lines are too high, and I think for these knockout games, these really, really intense battles, the lines have consistently been high. And I've taken a lot of unders, and that has worked for us, okay? Again, there's a reason why I'm up 50 units in the past week, or 100 units in the past 30 days, and the past 20 of those days, past 15 of those days, a lot of those games have been knockout round tournaments, knockout round games, and I've obviously been calling them very well, okay? So I'm not saying that this is guaranteed to hit. Nothing on PrizePicks, nothing in sports betting is guaranteed to hit, but I do really like this line. Now, last pick here, I'm going to run through this very quick, is Brian Wu. Very simple here. He is favored 58% to win this game. He's on the Mariners. They are minus 145 to win this game to minus 150. It depends on what book you're looking at. Now, if you look at when Brian Wu wins the game, so when he wins as a pitcher, he's going to go over pretty much every single time. When you look at the games where he loses, he's going to go under pretty much every single time. So as long as the Mariners win this game, we have a highly likelihood of Brian Wu going over. And it's because how pitcher fantasy score is scored. If you have a good start and you have a pitcher win, you're going to get way more fantasy score than if you do not have a pitcher win, okay? So if he wins the game, look for the over to hit. If you lose the game, look for the under to hit. And again, the sports books are literally telling you, you'll see right here on PickFinder. If you look at Pinnacle, it's minus 145. On PickFinder, I don't know where they get their odds, but it's minus 157. So Mariners are literally minus 157 to win. If you don't know what this means, you should look up what American Sportsbooks odds means, but they're minus 157 to win this game. And look at what happens when he wins the game, guys. He is most likely going way over this line, okay? So that is very simple there. If they win, he's going to go over. If he loses, he's probably going to go under. So let's hope for the Mariners to win tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the 2 PrizePick plays. Again, you know where to find me. My number is littered everywhere on the screen. Rebet's another app you guys can sign up for. Appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.